What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with a little bit of Destiny commentary. And if you guys were able to play the hard mode raid when it came out last week, you were probably well aware of a couple of things when you got through it. Number one being there weren't too many changes from the regular raid. Number two, the drops were still kind of eh. And number three, there are no longer elemental primaries dropping from the hard mode raid in Taken King. So this is very interesting. A lot of people at first thought this was either a bug or a problem, or the drop rate was just really, really bad on them. But no, it was confirmed, I believe, on NeoGAF and Reddit by Luke Smith himself. And he made a post, and I'm gonna recite his post right now, and then I'm gonna tell you why I think number one, he's an idiot, and number two, why Bungie is once again choosing to blame players for their own mistakes and taking away another reward out of the game to further punish players. So Luke Smith said, elemental primaries are being left behind. They had the distinct and undesirable property of limiting a broad weapon sandbox to a few weapons. You're free to disagree, but I strongly prefer the breadth of arsenal options, the potential of finding a better legendary than you have to being stuck because of a damage color. Additionally, no legendary weapons with damage colors has the property of making secondaries and heavies more important because of their damage color. So that was Luke Smith's post that he put up, and I personally don't agree with him whatsoever. I don't think legendary primaries with elemental damage on them were a problem, but see, Bungie always goes by the thing of this is the weapon that people are using the most of, so obviously there's a problem with that weapon, or that gun is overpowered, or that gun does this. The way I looked at elemental primaries in most of Year 1 of Destiny was they were a pretty nice reward for completing a hard raid. They were, for my opinion, they were very well designed, especially the Vault of Glass weapons, and there were a couple of Crota weapons that were also very good. I loved my Fang of Ur-Yut, I loved my Word of Crota, and I also loved Oversoul Edict, especially for PvP. So there were some really excellent weapons they designed for these raids, and I think that is the bigger problem in general. It's not that these guns themselves were overpowered or limited the weapon sandbox. The problem is the rest of the weapon sandbox was quite honestly kind of garbage. And that's been a problem with Destiny since the game launched. I think a lot of people would agree that the majority of the exotics that came out with Year 1 Destiny were the best exotics in the game. There's been a couple of decent ones here and there with Dark Below and House of Wolves, but for the most part, all the stuff that came out with Vanilla Destiny, which was, where they had to design it for the launch of the game, have turned out to be the best weapons and best perks and whatnot. Since then, they've, of course, nerfed several perks. They've removed some perks from the game. They have put some pretty crappy perks on guns, starting with House of Wolves and continuing with Taken King. They've taken away the ability to reforge to get the perfect roll. So I don't see this as being a player problem or limiting the sandbox when we're talking about players using the guns, the elemental primaries. Let's be honest here. Most people that play video games are probably pretty smart, and especially when you're playing an FPS, you're going to stick with the weapon that's most effective and you enjoy using. And in that case, it just happens to be that some of these raid weapons were those really solid weapons. But, I never had this problem when Vanilla Destiny came out because there were a lot of different guns that I like to use. There was the Vanquisher 8 from New Monarchy. There was the Chance from Future War Cult. The Shadow Price from the Vanguard. I could go on and on. The Red Hand 9 was a great hand cannon from New Monarchy as well. There were some really solid weapons that came out with the game, but then for whatever reason, Bungie decided to get lazy with the next couple expansions, and it's not our fault as players that we're going to use the best guns that we find and that we don't want to use any of the crap that they brought out with Dark Below or House of Wolves because the weapons just didn't feel as good. So I'm just kind of tired of this. This seems to be Bungie's MO. It's basically like, if there's an issue with the game, let's find a way we can blame players for it. There's a lot of lag in Iron Banner. People continually complain about lag in PvP. And Bungie's response is, well, check your connection. There's got to be a problem with your connection. Either that or your lags, or you're playing against lag switchers. That's basically what they said when people asked about this, the last Iron Banner we just had. People were asking before it, have you guys fixed the lag for Iron Banner? And Bungie said, well, it's either your connection or you're playing against someone who's manipulating the network. And that's such a cop-out answer. It's, their answer should be, we're looking at how we can fix things on our end to make our servers better, how we can help with the connection. Instead, they choose to say it's your connection or it's someone who's lag switching. So again, they're just blaming players for a problem with their game. And this has been something they've done pretty much all year long. It's constantly take something away from the players, punish the players for some reason, for their lazy design and lack of vision with the game. And I think this eliminating elemental primaries is just doing the same thing, because it's basically like, in my opinion, what's the point of running the raid now if you're not going to get a pretty cool weapon as a reward? You know, one of those elemental primaries. That was one of the reasons to do the raids before. It was, hey, we get some cool weapons, and you know, that allowed you to stand out a little bit from some people who hadn't done the raid, and have something different. And there was a good variety of weapons back then. So I think instead of blaming players constantly for some of the problems in Destiny, you know, like Luke Smith says here, it's basically like we're limiting the broad weapons sandbox because we're only using these elemental primaries. I think that's bullcrap. I think, hey, design some better guns, a better variety of better guns, and maybe we'll start using more variety of weapons in the game. I think it's that simple. You know, if there were better options to use, of course, people are going to use those options. So when you only have a handful of good options in the game, people are going to stick with those. And that's what Bungie does not seem to understand, and I just don't get what their problem is. I don't understand why they don't see this. You know, I don't know. It's just really, really interesting. And then, of course, you know, they don't want to do elemental primaries, but then they went and stuck the Zalo Supercell in the game. So there is an elemental primary in the game, and it's a pretty solid weapon. It's one of my favorite guns from this supposed year 2 or whatever of Destiny. But again, I just think here we go again with Bungie. It's like, you know, the thing is with Destiny is there have been so many reasons to stop playing this game in the past year, or especially after Taken King's come out, and now it's like, again, Bungie just gives us another reason to put this game down. Like, if you're going to constantly take things away, I mean, they nerfed the crap out of the Nightfall. They've just changed so much with this game to make it, you know, more negative for the players. It's like, would you guys even want us to play your game, especially with all these great games coming out, you know, in the holiday season of 2015 finally? It's like Bungie seems to be doing everything they can to sink their own ship. And I don't know. It's just, maybe it's the employees who are still there. Because I know Bungie's bleeding employees like it's not even funny. There's just a lot of people are leaving the company. And they've definitely lost that vision that made them so great when they made Halo. And now, instead of embracing the players and embracing the community and really giving tools for the community to make the game better, they just continually take things away from players and make it, you know, more difficult to even find a reason to play this game. You know, if you're one of those people who's going to continue to play the hard mode raid, you know, why are you doing it? You know, are you doing it just for fun? You know, because you're not going to get decent weapons anymore. I just don't see, you know, they wanted to make the Taken King more rewarding. That was their own words, and yet they've continually removed rewards from the Taken King. They're taking away elemental primaries. They've reduced the drop rate on certain materials. They've made weapon parts even harder to come by. And I noticed a funny thing, too, with the Cryptarch. Let me know if you guys have noticed this. But when I get a bunch of blue engrams, they used to turn into all kinds of stuff. I noticed recently that the majority of my blue weapon engrams are all turning into motes and shards. Or whatever, strange coins and motes of light. I'm not getting any weapons from them, which would allow me, of course, to get more weapon parts. So I don't know if that's maybe something they planned, but I just noticed that. But the Cryptarch's been a kind of an ass for all of Taken King. He's just been really weird. But anyways, guys, that's what just wanted to get my opinion out there on this elemental primaries being left behind nonsense. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it takes away another cool aspect of some of the weapons that were made for year 1. And again, it just baffles me how they were able to do such a decent job with weapons when the game first released and the exotics and everything, and now it's like they've just gotten completely lazy with how they manage this game and continually blame players for their own problems. So let me know what you guys think. Are you upset by not having elemental primaries? Do you just not even care anymore? Because quite honestly, I'm sort of in that boat where I'm not really even playing this game hardly at all. I've moved on. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age Inquisition. And I've also got some retro games I've been playing. A couple surprises will be coming up for you guys here on the channel in the coming weeks with that, but I'm not going to spoil that yet. But I've been doing a lot of other things besides Destiny. There's just not a whole lot of reasons to log in and play this game anymore. So let me know what you guys think down below. As always, I welcome your comments and thoughts on the matter. And I'd love to have some discussion there. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I will see you again next time.
Enemy captured Zone B. neutralized Zone B. One final push and victory is yours. Heavy ammo on the way. Heavy ammo available. Your victory gives the city hope.